So today I wanted to talk a little bit about Shakespeare, editions of Shakespeare, not 1590 whatever editions of Shakespeare, not 16 something something editions of Shakespeare, but late 19th century editions of Shakespeare. Well, how come? Well, because never a week goes by that somebody on the telephone here doesn't come up with the question, I have a set of old Shakespeare, what kind of value does it have? And the simple answer is there is no simple answer. We Americans, for the first time in the late 19th century and early 20th century, had run trains across the continent, had been involved in the Industrial Revolution, and all of a sudden we had some time, we had some disposable income, and so we all went out and got some culture. And that included getting a set of Shakespeare, getting a set of Dickens, getting a set of Edward Bulwer Lytton, those sorts of things. Most of those editions really don't have a whole lot of value. However, there are some that are interesting, and that's the sort of thing you should look for, is what makes my set of Shakespeare interesting. The first thing you do, that I do, I call it the touch test, and that is hold a volume in your hand, and how does it feel? A good book has good balance. It also, when you open it up, looks good on the page. You might even theoretically take out a page, hang it on the wall or what have you, and it'd look good. It has balance, it has good design, it might have an interesting binding, those sorts of things. You'd not be looking for, of course, as we've talked about before, old yellow paper and a binding that is falling apart. The job that the printer did makes a difference. In this case, the printer did not apply his ink evenly. In one corner he has it very dark, and in the opposite corner it's very light over here. Among other things, it makes it more difficult to read, but it also is an indication of how much the manufacturer or the publisher cared about what he was doing. And that's always a good indication of whether or not something may or may not have value. Here's an edition of Shakespeare, a Variorum edition, that is a late 19th century edition of, in this case, Much Ado About Nothing. And you can see it's a well-made book, has nice headbands and tailbands, and it's very scholarly. It has taken the best, or all of the text of Shakespeare, put them side by side to make a comparison. There's another early 20th century edition of Shakespeare. You can see how nice it looks on the page. It's been well designed. A famous designer named Bruce Rogers did this particular edition. And as I say, it's an attractive book. It feels good in your hand. And those are just a few of the things to look for in your set of Shakespeare. And I hope you have an interesting one.